Hello, everyone. I happen to just be streaming already, so very convenient for Simon to release a feature of me today while I was already streaming. So we have interrupted a stream of me doing crazy topology game, uh, where we're solving actually quite cool 3D Sudoku puzzles. I don't think my mic is unusually far away from me. And so now we're going to watch Simon solve the puzzle drop. So, as with my most recent puzzle, why is my sound really quiet? I have no idea. You did not miss it live. I'm assuming Tristan is coming to rescue me and fix the sound because I can't talk louder than this at all reasonably. Anyway, I set this puzzle on stream, so you can actually go back and watch the VOD of me setting it if you want. I have no idea what's wrong with the settings at all. Is that any better? Chat is waving at you.
Weird, it's still quiet.
I mean, I can attest I'm not talking quietly. Is it because you changed the system volume?
Shouldn't be. Oh, we can check the input volume.
Let's see. Several people in chat say it sounds fine, for what it's worth. The input volume is certainly where it usually is. Like, we usually have that at 80, I think, so it's even higher than it usually is.
I think I will boost this a tiny bit.
I can, like, turn this knob up if you want.
No, I'll do it Here.
Okay, how about that? Anyone feel that is horrible? And then we get to compare it to Simon's voice as well.
Let's see.
Okay, let's see. Jim says it seems workable.
Hello and welcome to Friday's.
The microphone is not
second edition of Cracking the Cryptic.
locked.
In fact, because on Fridays we often do a cryptic crossword video, and indeed I did one of those this morning.
I mean, the mic was working just fine, like
too. So if you're into cryptic crosswords, check out the link. I'll try and remember to put it on the screen. But
okay, how does that seem for folks? Okay, Simon video is a little quieter than you. Let's see, I can bump that up maybe.
If you're more into your Sudoku,
then
we have another treat for you. It's been a week of treats, certainly in the Sudoku sense. Not if you've ever had to get a flight from Philadelphia Airport with American Airlines, but that's a different story. If you like Sudoku, we are going to try Drop by Zetamath and Friends, which I've no doubt will be brilliant. I did a puzzle by I'm used to Zetamath. I'm not so used to Zetamath and Friends, but I've done a Zetamath and Friends puzzle.
So if you're not familiar with the Zetamath and Friends branding, this year I have been doing most of my setting on stream. And so when I set a puzzle on stream, I brand it as Zetamath and Friends, because of course when I do it on stream, I get lots of help and suggestions from all of you out there. And that is very cool. Oh, by the way, also I noticed and then got distracted with the sound. Plunk Time gifted out 5 Zetamath memberships. So let me get you a donation dance for that. So thank you, Plunk Time. Woohoo! Thank you, Zach, and huge thank you, Plunk Time. Enjoy your memberships, Sarah, Martin, Rockrat, and Dad Jokes. Let's see. I think it was Jim,
a couple of weeks ago, and it was absolutely marvelous. So I've no doubt this will be absolutely marvelous as well. I found it on Logic Masters Germany, and it has 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, which is actually, that's quite generous of Zetamath, who can ratchet up the difficulty as he likes. Anyway, this is what we're going to have a go at. It's called Drop.
I don't think my puzzles have gotten significantly easier, but I think 5-star puzzles have gotten harder. So I think I very rarely have 5-star puzzles these days, but I'd say probably 4 is my most common number of stars. And welcome, Thomas. Thank you for subscribing.
I can't remember if I said that, but it is. I don't know why. And it has got its normal rules, except these... the peachy lines, they are entropic lines, which I suppose is probably normal. We just don't have them very often. But do not worry, if you're unfamiliar with all of these coloured lines, I will explain the meaning of them all before we kick it off and try the puzzle, which I will do in a moment or two's time. Now, what did I need to tell you before that? We've got over on Patreon, we've got our Skojo Jojo.
I should mention, by the way, that if you're at all colorblind and have trouble distinguishing these colors of lines, the version that is at LMD, the lines are labeled, or at least there is a labeled version of it where the lines, so that you don't have to be able to have any color vision at all in order to do the puzzle. I know that is an issue with line constraints, which are admittedly, I have a huge love of line constraints, and I tend to mix and match them. So we have all of that. And yes, by the way, before anyone says it, this region subline and this region subline could definitely be arrows if they wanted to be, but then it wouldn't have the cool arrow down in the middle to go with the theming.
Joe and Jobo. Where is that? That's here. Sudoku Hunt, which is our monthly competition for August. Check it out. It's getting some lovely feedback, fully deserved, and the competition closes on the 20th.
What could be
Now, what else?
zanier than an
There
entropic
was.
puzzle with only length 3
I'm sure there's
entropic
other things.
lines?
I've got birthdays to do. So do not worry. I've still got to actually. I'll start off with the apology birthday. Tom, you turned 30, and this was way back on the 26th of July. And your girlfriend Vicky wrote to us in plenty of time, and I just missed the message. So I'm so sorry about that. Things were a bit fraught over that period, but that's no excuse. And I understand you didn't even get chocolate cake. You have matcha cake.
Ooh,
Which,
that sounds good. I mean, I love chocolate cake, but
chocolate cake really would be better, Tom.
Also one of my weaknesses.
But also, it's just been your first anniversary, hasn't it, of when you started dating? I think that was back on the 6th. And thank you, Tom, also for introducing Vicky to the channel. I'm always delighted to hear of people proselytizing about Cracking the Cryptic. So, Tom, well done. And I hope you had a great day, even if my birthday wishes are delayed. Now, I think the rest of these are actually on time. I hope I'm not telling fibs there. We'll start off with Aidan, who is over in Oregon and has turned 23. And I know this because your partner Isaac wrote to us, Aidan. And Isaac described you as the sweetest person and a master of anything stitched, knit, or sewn. And you got a confetti cake. And I saw a picture of this, and I was jolly impressed. I know it doesn't look like chocolate, but it does look quite delicious. So, Aidan, I am quite jealous, and I hope you have a great day today.
There are definitely some repeated visual motifs
over there in Greece. It's Anna's birthday, and Anna's turned 34, although I think you always say 25, don't you? And I know this. Are you over in Thessaloniki? I think I've been to Thessaloniki. I think it was a long time ago, but I think I have. I hope I'm not misleading you. Maverick's about to fly past, but Anna, the reason I know it's your birthday is that your friends, I'm going to say Evropi, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Irene and Antonis all wrote to us. Antonis could be. I don't know. I'm sorry.
You're eating chocolate cake right now.
I
I am so jealous, Isabella. That is,
Next birthday, a
with
very
chocolate
important
icing,
birthday in the sort of Sudoku world, David Ratner, who is one of the most wonderful, kind, enchanting, and positive people that you will ever find in any community online.
Happy
let alone
birthday,
the Sudoku
David.
community, an absolute pillar, doyen of the Sudoku world. So, David, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today, and I hope you have chocolate cake.
Does this mean you turned 45 today? Is that, or is he just saying
Italian
because,
Julia, which I always want to pronounce?
You're from
Julia.
Thessaloniki.
But I might be thinking of that film, The Wedding Singer. I'm not sure. I could be getting totally wrong there. So, Julia, many happy returns. I know it's your birthday because your boyfriend Marco wrote to us. And apparently the two of you found out independently that you both watched the channel, which is rather cool.
Great to have you be part of it,
next,
David. Really.
Erie, from your friend Dustin. Erie, I know that you watch both the crossword videos and the Sudoku videos, so thank you for doing that. And I hope you have an absolutely brilliant
I wonder what the
birthday
overlap
today.
is between the crossword people
That's all
and
the
the
news.
Sudoku people. I do
Let's
enjoy
turn our
watching
attention
the
to
cryptic
doing some
crossword
solving.
puzzles, by the way.
Let's see what zetamath and his friends have in store for us. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Within a cage, digits do not repeat and must sum to the total given at the cage's top left corner. So that's normal rules. So those cells there, let's pick a colour.
Oh, I've been meaning to check,
Those
by the
yellow
way. I think
squares
someone
sum to
claimed
21.
this
But what
cage
you
is
can't
actually
do
completely
to
unnecessary.
make that happen is something like that. Because although
didn't
these
actually
eights
go in a
seem
solver
to
and
obey
check
the
it.
rules of Sudoku, they don't obey the rules of cages. We're not allowed to repeat a digit in a cage, so we couldn't do that. That would be too naughty for words. Along green lines, adjacent digits must differ by at least 5. So green lines are sometimes called German whispers lines for reasons that I can't remember. It goes back into the sort of annals of Sudoku history. But that means if this square here was a 3, this square here would have...
So the reason why they're called German whispers is because originally there were Chinese whispers, which is a somewhat racially problematic reference to an old game that Americans would play, where you like whisper something to each other and then do that. And so that those were like lines where you couldn't make things change by more than 2. And so then German Whispers are a different version of that at least the story I've heard is that they were debuted during a competition in Germany, and now Tristan doesn't like my sound again. So am I too loud or too quiet?
Too quiet.
Too quiet still? Wow, weird. Really wonder what's going on with that. It's very strange. Let's see. But anyway, so then that's how they became German Whispers. The gain was off. So when Tristan was adjusting the gain, it wasn't doing anything. That explains a lot. How about now? Is that better? And hey, Alex, always great to see you around.
Okay, that's much better.
Okay. Alrighty, so
have to be at least 5 different, so it would have to be 8 or 9. That's the way German
Dutch
Whispers
work. By a Dutch setter.
Digits on a purple line form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So if you found a 1 on one of these lines, the other digits would have to be 2 and 3 in order to ensure that the set of digits overall was a consecutive sequence.
We always know that
So
Renbon are the best.
if we change that to 9, then you'd have to find 8 and 7. It gets more complicated if you find a 5 on a line, because it can sort of go up or down or be in the middle, but you get the idea.
What does Simon Whisper
now, the
line
sum
be?
of digits on a blue line is the same within each 3x3 box. Oh, okay, so that's right. So this is region sum lines. I pause for a moment because that rule keeps being expressed differently by the Sudoku constructors of the planet. So sometimes it's expressed as box borders divide a blue line into segments, each of which has the same sum, but it amounts to the same thing. So what we're saying there is that those 3 digits sum to the same as this digit. This digit sums to the same as those 2 digits. Hopefully that is clear. Right, and then we've got any 3 adjacent digits along a peach line must include 1 digit from 1, 2, 3, 1 from 4, 5, 6, and 1 from 7, 8, 9. So along there, we must obey that rule. So if we worked out that this was a 1, then we would know that these 2 digits couldn't include any of the digits 1, 2, or 3.
57
because there would have to be a middly digit in one of these, and there would have to be a high digit in the other one of those. So it's a most peculiar rule. What did Simon and Garfunkel write about? He was a most peculiar man. Yeah, well, that's a most peculiar rule. Anyway, there are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, the first thing I'm seeing here is 12 cages in 4 cells. They are...
Yeah, so very often, I set this on stream. Very often when I set something on stream, I come with an idea. And the idea I came with was exactly these 2 12 cages in this shape. And a slight knowledge of what they implied that Simon is about to sort of unravel. But I had no idea what sort of clue I was going to draw. I tried like various clues because it's going to ultimately trap into this clue and these. But that was sort of the starting idea was, these sort of 12 cages here would be kind of interesting if I put something here. So that is the
quite
thing.
Restricted. There's only 2 ways of making that work. You can have 1, 2, 3, 6 or 1, 2, 4, 5, and you will note that there is a commonality between those 2 things. There must be a 1 and a 2. And in fact, I'm actually going to note something about that. And the thing I'm going to note is this square here. I'm going to claim that this purple square, I do like this new purple colour, I have to say, this purple square is a 1 or a 2. Because if it wasn't, what would happen in the world? Well, let's imagine it wasn't. Then where would we put 1 and 2 in row 3? They would have to sit in those 3 squares, wouldn't they? And they can't, because this is one of these funny peach lines. And it has to have only 1 of the low digits, and it would have a 1 and a 2. So that digit is definitely a 1 or a 2.
So yeah, that deduction was the deduction that I sort of came with of like, I'm going to put something here that forces this to be a 1 or a 2, and I'll try and figure out exactly what I can possibly do with it to make the world a better place. Glad you think so, AFK.
Okay. There is one other thing I'm noticing there then when I think about it. So I'm going to colour that for a moment. Whatever this is, let's say this was a 1, just for the sake of exposition. If this is a 1, then there is a 2 in one of these 3 squares. But there will also be a 2, of course, in one of those 4 squares. And that means that the low digit on this peach line is the yellow digit. It's definitely, well, it's clearly not the purple digit, but it can't be a 3, I suppose, is the point I'm thinking about. Now, yeah, okay, here is another point. So the 12 cages are proving profitable here. What would happen if the flavours of these 12 cages were the same? So imagine they were both 1, 2, 3, 6. That cannot work, can it? Because 1, 2, 3, and 6, or indeed 1, 2, 4, and 5, include no
Simon's shirt and Simon's sweater
no
colors.
high
Excellent,
digits.
excellent.
So imagine these were both. Let me just try and show you. If these were both 1, 2, 3, 6, then clearly these 3 digits here appear in those 4 cells there, and therefore in row 3 again they would all inhabit the peach line, and that would mean that the peach line could not contain a 7, 8, or a 9 digit.
I really liked this.
What that means is that
interplay.
One of these 12 cages is 1, 2, 4, 5, and the other is 1, 2, 3, 6. Now,
I guess he didn't quite note that.
I'm not sure
if
what
they
that
were
means.
both 1, 2, 4, 5, it would put 4 and 5 there. But
I feel
it was
like
certainly
that's
great
likely
for the
to
same
be
reason.
important, though. Let me just mull that for a second. No, I'm not sure.
So
One of them is.
I noted when I was setting this, okay, this sets up so that we know the cages are definitely different. How on earth do we use this? And it was Jay Dyer's idea, if I recall correctly, to note that, well, that means one of them is 1, 2, 3, 6. So you can abuse the entropic lines with that. So Jay Dyer is owed for
1,
this.
2, 3, 6. One of them is 1, 2,
this
4,
next
5.
flourish.
I was wondering if it was sort of trying to put pressure on these, but I don't think it is, because you could always have a spare low digit in these sort of tips down here. I'm not sure. Let's try and find something further afield. What about, well, okay, we've got...
Correct, D-Web. That is sort of the next...
Okay, right, what about the blue lines then? Because the blue lines have got something interesting. Yeah, there's some sort of naughtiness in play here, I think. I think there is a restriction on how many low digits we could have in these squares. And the reason I'm thinking that is that this pattern here of blue squares is interesting. So I've done enough puzzles, region sun lines puzzles, to know that if you have 5 digits in the same box,
and this wasn't even really intended at all to be a step in this puzzle, although when I was test solving it, I noticed that people were probably going to think about this.
1 + 2 + 3 + 4 + 5.
I don't think it's
so
super
if these
useful.
are at least 15, what are these 2 squares? Well, they must be higher than 5, because you can't write 5 into one and 10 into the other. So these 2 have to add up to at least 15. And
Yeah, Simon is
And
very,
we're going to
very
have to
sharp at
put
spotting
quite
things.
some low digits in this congregation, I think. Let me pick a better colour to sort of highlight the congregation that I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
this
Let's
is
look
a
at grey.
slight regret of mine about this puzzle, is that it's really intended that you only think about this 3-cell arrow, basically. And I think the thing that Simon's doing is what the puzzle kind of baits you into doing, and I kind of wish I'd somehow steered it away from there, but I don't know that there's much I could have done other than to, like, maybe make this an arrow and this a region sum line, but that's, like, super sloppy. So I think, and I don't think it's going to be, like, too long of a detour, but it's something that sort of I feel like is a little baity, more so than I intended.
Now, I haven't worked this out, but my feeling is that there's something going on with the number of low digits that you, or how you put the low digits in these squares. Because, for example, it must be true to say that neither of these squares can be a 1. Because if either of these squares was a 1, the minimum sum for those squares is going to be 20. 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 20. That's too many for these to add up to. Now, if either of these was a 2, the minimum would be 19, and that's still too big. We could have double 9 here, couldn't we? So we can have 18, right? So the absolute best case is that one of these is a 3.
Oh, okay. The math is just going to work out the same anyway. It's not gonna actually break this at all.
That's only possible. Well, that's only possible. You can only have one of these being a 3 if these do add up to 18, because you'd have to then minimise them with 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 adding up to 18, and that would be double 9. But if neither of these is low, then what happens? Then
the same. So no surprise, Simon thinks about this in terms of min-max and adding, and I tend not to think about it that way because I'm terrible at adding numbers. So I thought about this as in any 3-cell arrow needs to have at least 2 of the 3 digits from 1, 2, 3 on it, or it sums to too many. And so I thought of it as soon as either of these is low, it forms a virtual triple. And then that sort of ends up forcing all of this, because then that means that this needs to be a 4, 5 and summing to 9, and then everything else sort of just falls into place from that. So I mean, anyone who watches my streams will know my love of saying the phrase virtual triple. So that was sort of my way of thinking about it.
No, it doesn't work. Right, that's it. Now my cogs have turned. Okay. So this is lovely. So the first 2 digits you get are those 2 digits, both being 9. It's very beautiful. It's classic zetamath, actually. It's sort of 2 weird constraints operating independently of one another, and then suddenly the mechanism meshes and it clicks into gear, and you go, now I understand, because it puts too much pressure. It puts too much pressure on the low digits. Because we know that the 12 cages already have hypothecated the 1 and the 2. We can never put 1s and 2s in those squares. So the only low digit we could put in these squares ever is a 3. Now we can't put 2 3s into those squares. So we could hide, but if we had no 3s and no 1s, we know we can't have 1 or 2 in these squares either. So none of these peach lines, or none of those peach lines there, can ever have 1 or 2 on them. So the only low digits we're thinking about putting on them is 3. And the point is, you can't put 3 into those 2 3s into these squares. You can't put 3s here and 3s here, because we know the 12 cages are different. And one of them is 1, 2, 3, 6. So that rules that out. So what we in fact are learning is there is a 3 in one of those squares. This is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. These are double 9. There is a 3. I don't really know how to pencil mark this, but one of these lines does have 3 on it. 9, yeah. Okay, so the only way to make a 3-cell sequence add to 9 from the digits 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 is to use 1, 2, and 6.
Yep, Peach or high
so
mid-low
this
lines.
must
Yep,
be
entropic.
a 4, 5 pair to add up to the 9 here with a domino. There's something else going on here, though. Okay, let me just think about this. So we've got one of the lines has a 3 in one of these, and then it's going to have a middly and a high digit in its box, or in the other box it lives in. And one of them has a 3 in one of these two squares, so that's going to have 1, 2, 4, 5 in its sort of tetromino. And this one has a 1 or a 2. Right, sorry, I'm not now seeing whatever there is else to see here. I don't... Well, I was going to say I don't think it's these digits, but it might be, you know. Because there's a 3 in one of them, and the other digit is high. From a sort of entropy perspective. So what's going on? So one of these entropic lines has 3 here, and then it's got middly and high, but it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 6 in here. So the middly digit's going to be from 4, 5. And the high digit's going to be from 7, 8, 9. So one of them's got 4, 5 and 7, 8, 9. But we don't know which one. Now the other one is going to have a high digit in one of these two squares. So it's going to have middly and low. So it's going to have 3 and middly. Yeah, okay. So one of them has 3 and 6. This is complicated to see, but let me try and explain. Let's just imagine that this square is... I'm going to imagine this square is the high one, so that means that one's the 3. The point now is that we know one of these lines has a 3 on it, and it can't be this one. So it's this one. There would be a 3 in one of these squares. Now you can see that this tetromino here has to be 1, 2, 4, 5. So the other digit that's appearing with the 3, which is a middly digit, because we've had the high and we've had the low on this peach line, has to be a 6. So
this does require you to hold an awful
pair.
lot in your head at
so
once,
either
I
this
suppose.
is a 3, 6 pair, or this is a 3, 6 pair. And that is beautiful. Good grief. Right. Well, I've done it wrong, but I've done it right in a way. Okay, let's go back. Because what I'm now going to tell you is that this line is not 3, 6. This is absolutely lovely, by the way. Because how could this be 3, 6? And, well, the answer... on the face of it, is there's absolutely no reason this can't be 3, 6, except when...
Yeah, it was fun of like, how do I rule out the possibility of 3, 6, 9? It's like, what kind of clue could I put that would do that? And then, of course, given that Renbon are my favorite, it was not too difficult for my brain to then go, oh, that means I could just throw a 3-cell Renbon down here, and that'll finally disambiguate this. Because I do try in my puzzles to not make you have to go too long with trying to keep in mind all of the left side of the grid and the right side of the grid are like these two things. I try not to have you chase it too far, because eventually it gets sort of bogged down. I think this puzzle pushes it about as far as I'm comfortable with. So it's like, I need some way to do it, but I want to do it in a way that doesn't then break anything from earlier. And so I think this ended up doing it exactly what I wanted, having that Renbon
When we
there.
think about that line, how could this line be a renban, be a consecutive sequence of digits, 3 consecutive digits, if we can't use 3, 6, or 9 in this sequence? Well, you can't use 7 or 8 because you're going to run into a 6 or a 9 by the time you try and make a 3-cell sequence. You can't use 1 and 2 because you will run into 3. And between 3 and 6, there's only 2 digits, which are 4 and 5. So again, you run into the 3 or the 6, so it doesn't work. That's absolutely gorgeous. So hang on, let's just try and understand what zetamath and friends have done here. So they've started off with 12 cages. They've noticed that there's... Yeah, and they've noticed entropic lines are interesting as regards low digits. They've combine that with region sum lines, and then they've used the shape of this one with a renban at the bottom of the grid, the dropped renban, to force this one to be the 3-6. It's really clever. It's really clever. I very much appreciate that. Well, and this is huge because now this one has to be 1, 2, 4, 5, and this one has to be 1, 2, 3, 6.
Yeah, chat was incredibly on the ball with this one.
So this has a 4, 5 on it. It still might put pressure on this, you know. One of these is 4 or 5 because it can't be 6. And one of them will be high and will have to be a 7 or an 8. So these digits are from 4, 5, and 7 and 8. And it's one high and one low. But... no, okay, so this could easily be 1, 2, 3 then, perhaps. Maybe that's what it has to be. No, it doesn't. Because if this was 4, 8, if this was 4, 8, this could be 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I don't know how that works. And now I'm stuck. Hang on. So... how do we do this then? There must be a purple up there. I mean, I might as well label that up. The other digits over here are 7, 8, and 9. I don't know if that's important, but I'm going to notate it. Yeah, yes it is. It is important. Because there must be a high digit on this peach line. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it goes, but there is a 7, 8, or 9 in one of these 3 squares, and that makes a virtual trip.
So the easiest question here, although I wouldn't call it easy, but I think the easiest question you can ask is, where does 3 go in row 3? Is, I think, the question, the most standard Sudoku question, where if you look at it for 6 different reasons, the answer is it can only go there, but he's going to get there as well just by going about it this direction, which is fine as well.
In a row. And this can't be 7
as
or
always,
8.
whenever there's a hidden,
so this is the high one.
Sort of a naked thing as well.
And this is the low one. Oh, I tell you something as well. Look at that. That 6-sum there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 7, 8, 9 triple as well. So that's not the high digit. It's in one of those two.
And the middle one's not the low digit.
Oh, okay. Now I don't know what to do. Is this in any way obvious? Yes, I hear you all chorus. I'm sorry if it is.
We did AFK, yeah. We did sort of some more stuff before putting in the red
pressure, mustn't it? From a sort of Sudoku-y perspective, is my impression. Because it can't be 7, 8, 9. It can't be 1, 2, 3, or 6. It doesn't have to be a 4 or a 5. Oh, that's... Well, that's... Oh, is that true? I think that is true by Sudoku. So Sudoku, I mean, it's outrageous being made to do Sudoku in a Sudoku puzzle, but I think I've been made to do it. If this is a 4-5 pair, what is the middly digit in this sequence? It seems to have to be 6. It's not the middle digit either. That's it. Okay, so actually, look, I've now worked out where the high digit goes. because this digit can't be the low digit. We know the low digit is a 1 or a 2 on this line. So these digits are from 1, 2, and 6.
And it's all the same logic, just sort of
might as well
not
put
in
the 6
exactly
in
the
corner.
same order that we thought about it
But
when we
now
made
this
the puzzle.
digit is a 3. That digit is a 6. That means that digit is a 6. So that's not the yellowy digit. So this isn't the yellowy digit. The yellowy digit is in one of those two. One of these is definitely a 3. There's a 3 up here by Sudoku. This isn't a 9, actually. So this is a 7 or an 8. So it's quite... what about that digit then? Yes. I could have done this. I could have thought about this digit already. This digit can't be a low digit. Let me just explain. There are some secrets to do with German whispers lines that are going to be important here, because you can never put 5 on a German whispers line. And that's because the next digit becomes impossible. If you put 5 here, this digit has to be at least 5 different from 5. And if we go down, we get to 0 or lower. If we go up, we get to 10 or higher, and they won't work. So we can sort of categorize digits along a German whispers line as either above 5 or below 5. Now let's think about whether this could be below 5 digit. It can't be 1 or 2, so it would have to be a 3 or a 4. 4 only partners up with 9 on a green line, and 3 only partners up with 8 and 9, and this 9 prevents both of those things from happening. So this simply cannot be low. It can't be 6, it can't be 9, so it is 7 or 8. And now this column hasn't got any 3s, 4s and 5s, and that can't be a 3. There's a daunting amount of Sudoku going on in this row, I feel. 9, that can't be a 9.
Daunting amount of
because the 9
Sudoku
in this row is over here.
I mean, it is true. There is a digit for free in the row if he's willing to endure the Sudoku.
As well, because we've effectively got a sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quintuple, or no, sextuple in box 3. So, oh no, I thought I could get the 9 in box 2, but I can't quite. I can get the 9 in this box though. It goes in the corner, I think. So there's a 9 in one of those 3 squares by Sudoku. Right. Now what do we do? I could do maths on this box using a secret I'm aware of. I doubt it'll be helpful. I'll just mention it because it just occurs to me that I can do it. Well, the secret of Sudoku, and it's something I share with only my very favourite people. But if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people, so I'm going to tell you. The secret is that a whole box of a Sudoku must sum to 45 because of the rules of Sudoku, because the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. Now, 45 is an interesting number in that it is divisible by 3, and there's a trick you can do with a 3-cell Renban, or 3-cell purple line. Because a 3-cell purple line must also be divisible by 3. And the way that you can work that out is by thinking of the centrally valued digit on here. Let's call that x. Because we know this is a consecutive sequence, then the sum of the digits along the line would be the x, which is the middle one, the x plus 1 digit, and the x minus 1 digit. You sum those digits up, you get 3x. 3x is obviously divisible by 3. So this is divisible by 3. 22 is not. So what we're going to have to do is sort of correct the count. These 6 cells altogether must be divisible by 3 because 45 is divisible by 3, and whatever this line adds up to is divisible by 3.
Thank you, Mavir.
So what are we going? Which modulo set are we going to?
Welcome.
We're going to need this to be
again.
remainder 2, aren't we? When it's divided by 3, because 22 is remainder 1 when it's divided by 3. So this could be something like I don't know.
The comment thread of this
5,
video will be
8,
like,
11
yeah,
is what I
I'm
want
I'm
to say.
sure.
That those the thing is that's not actually helpful. 5, 8, 11. 4. No, it really isn't, because it goes up as high as 17, so it could even be 8, 9. Right. Let's label these digits, because this is 7 or 8. These must be 5 different. In fact, that is not 3. Look, oh, so that is one of our special digits. That's either a yellow or a purple digit. There must be a yellow or purple here. In fact, let's label this up, because yellow and purple certainly live in this congregation of digits.
I love this.
Oh, bobbins, I don't know. Therefore... hang on. If we've got... Oh, right. Then we can do something here. Look, we can't...
This is probably a good idea.
Where's 6 in this column? We can't put 6 on the Remban at the bottom, because we can't put 7 or 8 on it. So it would be 6, 5, 4, and this square would break if you put 6 on this Remban. So 6 is in one of those squares. So 6 is in one of these squares. And we can't put 5 on here either, can we? Because if we put 5 on here, given we can't put 6 on here, we're going to have to put 4 on here, and that's going to break this square as well. So this line is selected from the digits 1, 2, 3, and 4 only. So which means it must have 2 and 3 on it. It's either 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sure that's doing something. My brain isn't being intelligent enough to work out what it is. Naughty brain. That's not 9. Being reduced to doing Sudoku again.
Not Sudoku.
Oh, sorry. Let's try. Well, I tell you something that might be a thought. What's the nature of that digit?
That was, I think,
And
the
I'm
intended
thinking
next
there,
question
can
to
this be a
ask.
high digit? Now, if it's a high digit, oh, my phone's buzzing, that's all right. If it's a high digit, it can't be 9, so it would be from 6, 7, and 8. But that would mean these squares, which have to then be 5 different from this, would only be selectable from 1, 2, and 3. And look what happened. Look what's happened to column 9 now.
Poor column
I've
9.
got 4 cells selected from just 3 different digits, which will necessitate a problem with Sudoku. So I think that middle digit there has to be a low digit. And it can't be a 4, because if it was a 4, that would be surrounded by double 9. In fact, it can't be a 3, because 3 would be surrounded by 8 and 9 and break this as well. So this is a
Every
1 or a 2.
two rules,
Now
you should
I've got a
repeat the
pair,
normal Sudoku
and that
rules
means this
apply.
is yellow, and that means that square's 3, because it can't be yellow. That's lovely. This is now whatever yellow happens to be. As Maverick does another fly past. So, oh no, we don't know. Because we don't know whether, if yellow was 1, then we would be away, because we'd know that this line was 1, 2, 3. But if yellow's 2, this could be 2, 3, 4. And then this would be 1, and there would be a 1 here. Don't know. Okay, what are these
It is
digits
delightful.
then? Oh, they don't.
I think
okay,
the
so
things
that's a
that
7
delight
and
me are very similar
'cause
to the
we've got
things
the
that delight
6 over
Simon,
here.
so I think we get along well.
This column is sort of done. Oh, this is it. We can do Sudoku. I mean, there is far too much Sudoku in this Sudoku puzzle. But look, now these squares are 4, 5, and 6 by Sudoku, which means there's no 4 on this line, which means this is a 1, 2, 3 triple. So we've got sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are from 4, 5, and 6 by Sudoku. We might want to think about the 21 cage now, which has already got at least... Yeah, this is purple, in fact, because the minimum I can make these 3 digits add up to would be 7 plus 8 plus 4, which is 19, which means this square is 1 or 2, and it's not yellow, so it is purple. So that's not purple, and that's not yellow by Sudoku, look.
I'm not sure that when solving this I ever colored that cell purple.
Where is 3 in this box? That's a good question. We can actually answer that straight away. This square is 4 or 5 by Sudoku.
Hey, Selena, how are you doing?
3, oh, 3 is nearly on this whisper. So if this was 3, this would be 8
the solving
or
will continue
9,
after this, Selena.
which might be fine. I'm not sure. 9, this is a 7, 8, 9 triple, so that's not a 9. So this is a 9 using the power of
The comments
Sudoku.
won't mention that at all, I'm sure.
7,
It is a
1,
good shade
2.
of purple.
This is 1, 2, 4, or 5. I mean, it's a dreadful pencil mark. Forgive me for making that pencil mark, but I will do it. Needs must. So what have we not really used? I thought about that, didn't I? I didn't seem to do anything.
It was quite deliberate, Michael, to try and keep that
you can't put
that
1
the
or
same
2
when you were
on this
adding
line.
the disambiguating
Yeah,
gauges.
maybe it's here. This Renban. I've not thought about that at all. Where's okay? Here is a simplistic question. Where's 9 in this column? And the answer is definitely not on the Renban, because the Renban would be 987, and that would break this square. So 9 is in one of those 2 squares. That's the first thing we can say. Now, the corollary of that is we can then ask where 8 goes as well. And there's no 8 down here for exactly the same reason. There would be a 7 and this square wouldn't exist. But the problem is we don't know that the 8 is in one of those 3 squares because it could be here. So the only way this has 7 on it is if it goes 7, 6, 5. Which might be possible. 765 is 18. 18 plus 22 is 40. This would add up to 5. Which is perfectly possible, probably. Okay. But we can't put 1 or 2 down here, can we?
You just mark what the
might
Renban
have to
could
be a
actually
bit
be.
careful. It feels like there might be a constraint on this whisper with, say, low digits.
That is the point, isn't it, Garion?
I'm unsure. I'm a little bit unsure about how to exactly about where the natural place to look is. This can't be 1, 2, 3 because that would break this, and it can't be 9, 8, 7. And it can't be 8, 7, 6. So this sequence of digits, it's either 4, 5, 6 or it's 5, 6, 7, isn't it? It's only got 2 options. And that means this square's not a 5, which is a tiny deduction, but perhaps worth right. By Sudoku, because this line has to have a 6 on it, by Sudoku, that green line has a 6 on it. And 6 is always interesting on green lines because it's monogamous. It only partners up with the digit 1. So we can't put it in the middle of the line because if we were to do that, we'd get 2 1s in the box. So this is not 6. 6 is on one of the extremities. Therefore, that digit is the monogamous 1, which means 1 is in one of those 2 squares. We know there's either purple or yellow.
Is he about to say we don't know whether
both,
1 is purple
we
or
still
yellow?
don't know whether it's equating with the 1 or not. Oh, there we do. There we go. We've done it. It's here. There it goes across the grid. So purple has become 1. So let's fill in all the purples with 1, which means all the yellows are 2. So this is a 6.
I mean, I can't judge. I couldn't see something that far across the grid.
Which means this is 1, this is 2. So we've got a lot of tidying up of colours to do in the middle box, but we can do that fairly straightforwardly. That one, I don't know if we know that. These are definitely not purple. This square is certainly not a 2, is it? So the 2 is... So we don't quite know. Oh, sorry, I don't quite know how to just fill in everything. Well, let's think about these squares. Oh, this can't be 3. 1 and 3 are definitely not 5 apart. Maverick, will you raise your aileron, or however it is you go higher? Right, these digits then are high. They're from 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that's definitely not 9. In fact, look at this digit. It's not 7 or 8. There's a 7, 8 pair in row 6. So that is the 6. That's a shame in a way. So this, right, so now we've got a 7, 8, 9 triple in, well, that's good actually. Yeah, I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple in those 3 squares. And that means that square can't be a 9, so this has to be a 9. Do I trust that? Well, how did I get... Yeah, no, that was a legitimate. That was thinking about this column. Okay, no, I believe that. So now I've got a 7, 8 pair in row 4, and that's the 9. Okay, that's good.
Very good, very good.
This 6 means this is a 6 by Sudoku. So now I've got a 4, 5 pair here. This has to be 7 or 8. I've got a 7, 8 pair here. There's all sorts going on now. Where is the 2? It's in one of those 2 positions. It's 2, 4, and 5 that we've not placed. But there's definitely a 5 on this line. So that's become 5. And the 2, 4 pair is resolved by Sudoku. So this is quite a thing now. And this being a 4... knocks 4 off that
Tom,
bottom line.
they're entropic, so they have 1 digit from 1, 2, 3, 1 from 4, 5, 6, and 1 from 7, 8, 9.
It's become 5, 6, 7. That resolves an 8 up here. Does that go? It goes a bit. 7 is the high digit on this peach line. Oh, I thought that might go a bit more, but it's being recalcitrant, I think. I've got a 4, 5 pair here, so this square has to be a 1, and 1 is a purple. So let's make that purple. That suggests this is purple, but I'm not sure we can absolutely guarantee it yet. Where's the next easy win here? Is it going to be... that can't be 9. Oh, I suppose we can do some maths on this, can't we? Or can we? Perhaps not, in fact. These add up to 20. I know that doesn't... it doesn't work. Well, no. Oh, it does mean there's a 7 in one of these 2 squares. Otherwise, this would be an 8, 9 pair, and it would get too big. So that's not a 7. So it's either
Sad we
7,
aren't getting
8
4, 5, and 7, 8 colors.
with a 5, or 7, 9 with a 4.
Oh my god, you
So
cooked the
this
wrong
is never
pan,
6, I
Simon.
suppose. That's another thing we could note. There's a 1, 2, 3 triple in row 7. Oh dear. Okay, I must know that digit. Oh, that's a 1, which is purple. Just by Sudoku, look. Does that do much? I feel like we must be able to fill in all the 1s. Although, no, I don't... Well, no, I'm not sure. I could certainly put 1 in the 22 cage.
I mean, that would sure help, Nicholas.
Yeah, okay, let's do the maths on this, because we've got 18 plus 22. That is 40. So by the secret, these 2 squares add up to 5. Which means they're either a 1-4 pair, which would have to be that way round, or a 3-2 pair, which would have to be this way round. So this is one of these purple-yellow digits.
I definitely never did the 45 math
Now,
in the
can we
box when I
do
was setting
any
this
better
puzzle.
than that? Golly, it looks very constrained. 5 here. This square here is not 5. So this is 2 or 4. Oh, Bobbins, I'm sorry. I can't see how to finish it. Let's think. Is it going to be It's going to be some sort of dodgy Sudoku, isn't it? I suppose one thing we can say is that this cage has got 8 and 9 in it. And the 9 must be in one of those squares, which means that, that is useful. So that knocks 9 out of this, which makes this a 7-8 pair, which makes that 9, but it also makes that 5.
What an ending. That is an
dint of
amazing
mathematics.
way to handle that.
So this becomes 4, 6. Is that not going to do anything? There's got to be an 8 in here as well. That might do something, because there's an 8 here. So the 8, yeah, that does something. So the 8 in row 9, look, where's it going? It goes in one of those squares, and that makes this little square have to be a 7. But if that's a 7, that fixes this 7, 8.
That was
here,
a very me
6
move.
here, 5 here.
I feel like one of the most common chat interactions I have is me saying, so one of these two cells is 8, and someone in chat saying, you know which one, and then me staring at the grid and going, do I? And then moving on, and then chat spending the next 5 minutes trying to get me to go back and look at the pair that is telling me which one is that.
This 7 on a whispers line can only... Oh, that's lovely. It forces this to be a 1-2 pair. And now, finally, we know the order. That one has to be the 1, and that has to be a 2. Therefore, that one, which needs a yellow digit, is a 2, and that's a 6. This is lovely. It's a very lovely puzzle. So now, there's a 6 in one of these squares. This square here is an 8. And this square here is a 3. I suppose I should tidy up my colouring, so let's do that quickly. That one doesn't deserve anything.
The fans will not like it if you don't tidy up the colouring.
Still, so I've got this pattern here that I don't understand. I know one of these is the 1, but I don't think I know. We're going to have to do something like knock a 4 out of here, or knock a 2 and a 3 perhaps. It's very hard for 3 to live in that 22 cage. But it could perhaps go here.
Yeah, sadly,
so
his very clever workaround to doing the Sudoku in row 3 has not saved him having to do the...
4, 5, that's their 5. That's 4, 4, 5 by Sudoku. Okay. I feel like we've almost done everything that we can do. Is it... I don't know where to look. Let's try this column. 3, 4, 5 is what we need. So the 8 doesn't go here, sorry. So this is 8, therefore that's 6, that's 4. Yeah, that's done it. Because now, where's 4 in this box? And I don't know the answer, but it's in one of those two squares, and that is going to mean... That's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion, which we know must go with a 2, which we know is yellow.
Chat was very happy that there was going to be a 3 in the corner at the very end of the puzzle.
That's 5, that's 2 in the corner, that's 4. So this is 4, this is 5, this is 3. And now what do we need? 7 and 5 at the top, so we can put 5 here. 5 here, 7 here. And that square ought to be gettable. That's a 3. So everything gets resolved by this cage, does it? So this is a 4, 8 pair, and the 4 here is useful. So the 4, 8 then gives the 8, 7, which gives the 7, 9, which gives the 7, 8. And these two squares are 1. So 1 did end up in this cage, and 9. And that 1 resolves the final... Well, no, that 2 could have done it as well. That is a very, very pretty puzzle. So let's just make sure that we've labelled everything. Oh, no, still haven't done it properly. There we go. All the 2... Oh, no. and fill in the puzzle. Make sure we finish the puzzle as well. Okay, so we've probably filled in all the digits. It looks like I've got 9
or
yellows.
Column 9.
It looks like I've got 9 purples. Does this cage add up? It should do. Yeah, that feels right. I reckon this might be right. Let's see.
Let's see, did they include solutions?
Yes. Solve counter 1. What? No, this isn't a new puzzle. But I
It's
liked it
because the
very much. Why is
testers.
it solve counter 1? So whoever's put this in the software for me has created it anew. I have no idea why. But
It's because
but
I
we
have the
solved
lines
it,
labeled
and that's
for
very
colorblind
marvellous.
friendliness.
It was
That's why.
beautiful. It really was beautiful. The break-in's beautiful, and I love these rem bands at the bottom, and the way they get restricted. And there's so many different techniques.
Oh, and the ampersand. There was something with the ampersand that I don't. Right. So yeah, there's two. So David's right. There's two components to it, and David remembered the other one. So component 1 is they re-entered it in the software because they didn't want the lines labeled with their 3-letter abbreviations, because I think it does make the grid look nicer, but I prefer the accessibility. Although this one, I think I actually uploaded both. I swear I actually uploaded both, right? Let me pull up LMD. I think I actually uploaded a version so that they wouldn't have to do this if they wanted to do the puzzle. I'm going to really quickly check LMD while this is. But also, Sudoku Pad does track puzzles by username and title of puzzle, so that even if you have multiple versions of your puzzle, it still only counts it as one tracker. But in the one that I have, there's a with labels and without labels version in my version, but I wrote the word "and" instead of that. And maybe they didn't like that I used thinner lines. It looks like they used thicker lines. But yeah, I actually did this time put an unlabeled version, because I figured from them they might prefer it if it worked that way.
Techniques at work here. I don't know if you've never seen this trick with 5 region sum lines appearing in the same box before. It might not occur to you that these are under pressure and that the low digits are under pressure here. And that.
Oh, Ken donates for a really fun gathering and watch along with me, feeling a bit bad, but not being in many of these. Thank you so much, Ken. Let me get you a donation dance. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Huge thank you. Greatly appreciate the donations
That
today
might
from
mean
folks.
that these two squares, because I felt that these were under pressure and I'd noticed the ones in the 2s, I could sort of see what might be going on in the nefarious zetamath's brain, sort of the Moriarty of the Sudoku world.
I like the branding Moriarty of the Sudoku world. I will embrace Moriarty of the
lots of
Sudoku world.
different little techniques at work, and the digits again dancing before our eyes. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back.
Alrighty, everyone, go leave a kind comment for Simon. But thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I'm glad this one I remembered. This one I remembered better, more clearly how this one sort of fell together. I was really happy with how this puzzle came together overall. And of course, Simon's solves are always delightful. But this time, Simon almost identically followed the order in which the clues were set. Occasionally, like maybe thinking about something slightly differently, but no major deviations from this. There's only like one of my puzzles where I recall like Simon started by like randomly asking if some digit could be a 3 and convinced himself it couldn't, and then solved the whole puzzle like in a completely alien solve path. Almost always Simon's solve paths are more or less identical to what I have intended. Also, the puzzle Distinction he solved by using set, which was not exactly what I intended. But again, you could sort of draw parallels between what he did and what I had intended. So it wasn't too far off. But anyway, I'm going to go back to solving some puzzles after this. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to stretch. And then I am going to solve some more puzzles. So if you want to hang out, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be on this stream, or if I'm not, then Tristan will set it up so that it kicks you over to the solving stream. So I'll be back solving some puzzles in just a moment. See you shortly.
Ken Laro donated $10 through Super Chat. For a really fun gathering and watch, along with me feeling a bit bad for not being to many of these streams lately, smiley face.
All right, welcome back, folks. So we're going to continue solving some 3D Sudoku puzzles because this was fun before. We're going to see if we can get to the Renbon ones because I know there's Renbon ones in here. Let's see. Apparently... Oh, are these not actually puzzles? Wait, have I actually solved all the ones that are in here? there's a small chance that I've actually solved every puzzle that is in here. Oh, there's only 3 levels. Oh, okay. So, never mind. We're not going to go back to this. I'm going to pull up something in Sudoku Pad because I did all 3 levels in the demo, and then by funny coincidence, yes, I just so happened that Simon got a feature exactly as we did that. So I'm going to pull up a puzzle in Sudoku Pad. So I'll be back in just a second. Hello again, folks. I was surprised to find that we've hit the end of the Sudoku thing. One second. But fear not, there are always more puzzles. I started or decided to start with and probably finish with, if we're honest, this puzzle pack by Fuda, which was voted for by many folks. So the people who voted for this puzzle are David, Russ, David, Nell, Luda, Doomdiat, and Nordy. We are going to give this a try. Now, I will say that in my mind, Fuda is the scariest puzzle setter by far. So I've never actually done a Fuda puzzle before, but I was assured that the Fuda puzzle pack would at least have some puzzles that would be approachable. So we'll see if that proves to be the case or not. Yeah, my keypad is still broke, so oh well. Okay, so let us read the rules. And so there are like, I don't know, like 15 puzzles or something in here. So we're not going to get through all of them, but we'll get started. So we have normal, irregular Sudoku rules. So we need to figure out, so normal 4x4 rules, but we need to identify the regions. Regions are of two types. One type is orthogonally connected, and the other is diagonally connected. You could have a region that looked like that would be diagonally connected, or one that looked like that would be orthogonally connected. The red lines are region sum lines. For each line, digit sum line have an equal sum within each region it passes through. Each line must enter at least two regions. Okay, so yeah, so this does seem a little bit bonkers, but what are you gonna do? So this is so these are in different regions for whatever it is worth. So, and these two are the same digit. We can also mark that if we are so inclined. Okay, so now I think the question is, or I think the observation is that cell's definitely green circle, right? Because if this isn't a green circle, there's 2 green circles on my region sum line, and that never works. Because if you have 2 of the same digit, you'd need to have 3 of that digit because unless, sorry, it could be those 2. Sorry, it could be that exactly these 2 are green circle and this is double green circle. But this cell can't be green circle. Let's see. AFK says no, it can't. Why can't it be? These 2 would just have to be in the same region. Oh, welcome, Valentino. Thank you for subscribing. They'd repeat in... Oh, right. Because then they'd repeat in the region, because it's a region sum line. Right. Sorry. Yes. Right. You can't have 2... Because if I did this, these would be in the same region, and it would have 2 green circles in it. Right. So it does actually follow. This is definitely green circle, and so that's green circle. So, in fact, actually, if I want, I can even mark that that's one of each region. Now, what am I going to do with that? That I have no earthly idea about. Let's see. Are we sure about that, Nicholas? Are we sure this isn't a diagonal region, and then these 2 are each from orthogonal regions or something like that? Now, yellow is definitely an orthogonal region. That I know, because there's nowhere diagonally for it to go. Now, is there any restriction on how yellow goes? That is unclear to me. Let's see. I mean, this cell isn't yellow. I'm prepared to say that. Either one of these is orange or they're both the same color, because we know there are 2 of the same color and 1 of a different color here. So, like, for example, I think these could both be purple. But I'm not sure. Does there have to be a 1 on this? I think there does, but I'm not sure I can prove it nicely. I mean, I'm just thinking I don't think this digit's a 1. Does there have to be a 1 on this? It could be... No, it can't be 4 as 2 plus 2. That doesn't work. So this is a single cell is equal to the sum of 2 cells. So there's definitely a 1 on here. Because otherwise it doesn't work. So there's at least 1 on this this thing. Oh, did Tristan change us to some other thing? I'm not sure, Jim. So there's definitely a 1 on here. So there's at most 1 1 on here. AFK 4224 doesn't work because of the reason that you said before, which is that it would put 2 and 2 in the same region. So yeah, at most 1 1 on here. Oh, you're saying, okay, sorry. You're saying, sorry, I thought you were saying 3 regions crossing it. No, you're saying 2 regions crossing it with 2 2-4s. Yeah, 2 2-4s would work. Sorry, yeah, that works. I can also say funny things like whatever digit this is in this row, I know this digit doesn't go there because there are no repeated digits on this length 3 thing. So whatever that digit is, it definitely goes in one of those 2 spots. I wonder if I'm supposed to like color these somehow. Yeah, I know this one is orthogonal, and that kind of makes me think they're all going to be orthogonal, but I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, I kind of want to color the digits on this, but that sounds also kind of horrible. Maybe I'm supposed to think about the fact that the 3 digits on this show up once each on this. Oh, that's not true, because green circle shows up on this and doesn't show up on this. Never mind. Yeah, if this is orthogonally, it's going to be something really specific like that. Sadly, there aren't any regions I know for sure don't make it here, but I mean, I know obviously not all regions make it here. But I think 3 regions could make it here okay. Am I supposed to checkerboard this? I wonder if I'm supposed to, like, lay down a checkerboard across this grid. Maybe I'm going to get rid of this coloring and checkerboard it. The reason why is because diagonal regions all either stay on white or stay on blue, and that's kind of interesting in terms of what it would imply. And now I'm thinking about the fact that we've got this same digit over here, and it can't repeat within a region. So if this is part of a diagonal region, so maybe that's the question. Can this be part of a diagonal region? I know that this is orthogonal. I don't know how I can mark that. But if this is part of a diagonal region, it definitely takes that cell. And it can't possibly take Oh, it could take that cell and that cell, I guess. And then we could have a diagonally region like this. I think it would probably have to do that, but maybe not. Uh, 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 okay. Yeah, if this is part of a diagonal region, I guess then it's pretty restrained as to what it could possibly look like. So, I mean, I'm noticing that I really, when I make a diagonal region, want to do this, which then forces that, which then forces another diagonal region, and I don't know if that works. Uh, uh, so I guess maybe here is a good cell to start. Is this part of a diagonal region? So I know that this cell is part of an orthogonal region. So this cell, if it's part of a diagonal region, it doesn't take that. So it definitely takes this, just to draw in what I'm thinking. Which means that these two have to be the same. Over here. And now... And this needs to get a... right, this cell's not blue. And this needs to get a green circle. Hey, Josh. So if it takes that one, it takes these. And if it takes that one, it takes these. I guess one consequence of this is that this is also a diagonal region in this universe. Because it's not part of blue and it can't possibly be part of orange. But it has perhaps a bit more flexibility about how it actually does that. I don't think so, Selena. It's a little tricky for me to see. But yeah, but yeah, I don't think I can quite break this, unfortunately. Let's see. Let's try the is this only 2 digits question? Because if this is only 2 digits, then this is also only 2 digits. Oh yeah, this is just, the triangle is just never only 2 digits, because we know the triangle says x plus y equals z. So yeah, so there's definitely 3 different digits over here, right? Which is a thing we said before. So there aren't only 2 digits on this, for what it's worth. So there's at least 3 digits over here. Oh, and green circle isn't. So there's exactly 3 digits over here, is what we actually know. So yeah, this is exactly 3 digits because green circle isn't one of them. And at most 1, 1, because we know there's a 1 over here. So, yeah, so 2 regions does not work, right? Because if it's 2 regions, then I either need a 3-cell one and a 1-cell one, but I can't have a 3-cell one and a 1-cell one because the numbers get too big. Or it's 2-cell equals 2-cell, but then the 2 cells either both overlap or don't overlap, and both of those break because, as noted, this can't have 2 digits and it can't have 4 digits. So this has 3 different digits. And so either these 2 digits are equal or these 2 digits are equal, just for the record. So these 2 can't be together in a diagonal region, I suppose, is one consequence of that. Because if these 2 are in a diagonal region, then this would have to be a diagonal region, and one of these diagonal regions would have a repeat digit in it. Oh, but if we have no diagonal region, this whole 2-1-1 business doesn't work. Because we've decided that this is 2-1-1. Matt Laffey, because in order for that to work, 3 and 3 would have to be in the same region, and 3 and 3 can't be in the same region. That took me forever to see at the beginning of the puzzle. Right, so there's 2 1 cells for sure, and the 2 1 cells have to be diagonally opposite each other, which means the 2 cells have to be diagonally opposite each other. And so we know that can't be the diagonal for the reason I said. So we actually know these 2 are in the same region, and it's a different region than those. So we can maybe start coloring that region. So I'll go ahead and make this region orange. We'll get rid of that. And then we know these are different regions, so I can make this one blue and this one green, we'll say. And orange we know is a diagonalish region. And so orange, I think, always takes this cell. Oh, no, maybe orange could take those cells. Is there any way orange takes... Let's see, if orange takes that cell, it looks like that. Blue has to take this cell, is I think Selena's point. Because blue is either diagonal or it isn't. If blue is not diagonal and it doesn't take this cell, it takes 2 greens. And if blue is diagonal, it definitely takes this cell. So this cell's always blue, regardless of whether blue is diagonal or not. Right, and these 2 are the same digit. I should go ahead and mark for my sanity. Maybe like green X. So either these 2 are green X, or these 2 are green X. And it can't be those 2 because orange needs a green X. Because by the sort of checkerboarding argument from before, if orange doesn't have a green X yet, and if it were these 2, it could never get one. So these 2 are green X. And now, assuredly orange takes this cell, because if orange took this cell, it would need to also take this cell. That doesn't work. So that's also orange. Okay, and now orange only gets one more cell, so it needs to take one of these two. But if it takes that one, we have a really big problem, I believe. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's okay. Okay, well, I can go ahead and I can color the entire rest of the grid. So let's make that red circle, because now red circle goes down here. So this is red X. This is red X. Maybe red was a terrible choice, but I don't know that I have a better choice. Let's make it pink. So that is pink circle, that is pink X, that's pink X, and that is pink circle. Okay, so yeah, we know the digit that orange needs. Oh, well, I don't know anything about blue, right? I don't know if blue is diagonal or not. But I know that cell's surely not blue. Wait, can green be orthogonal? If green is orthogonal, then those two connect. It would have to look like that if green is orthogonal. Right. I know this is part of an orthogonal region that is distinct from that one. And so whether this is green or not, these two are in the same region. I agree with that. These two join. Right, because of our previous note. These two are definitely in different regions. Selena knows which of these is orange, but I haven't understood the point about why which of these is orange is orange. This can't be blue by XO math. Oh, I'd be excited if that is true. So if this is blue, I would be saying green X plus... No, pink X plus pink circle is green circle. But pink X plus pink circle is green X. Right, so that's definitely not blue. Okay, I agree that's not blue. For that reason. So blue can't be orthogonally connected then. Because that's the only way that blue would work if blue were orthogonally connected. So blue, therefore, is diagonally connected and doesn't take that cell. And it doesn't take that cell either, because it already has a pink circle. So blue actually takes that cell. And now we know that this is the cell that blue takes, because it's the only cell left. Okay, so blue is done. This cell is orthogonally connected, and therefore it's green, and all of green is orthogonally connected. So we get that out of green. Uh-oh, Emma disagrees. I think green is orthogonally connected. I think green is just an orthogonally connected thing, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Ba-doop-a-doo, ba-doop-a-doo. Oh, sorry, I can't do that one yet, but I can do blue. Okay. So this is this is now orange. It's nothing else it can be. If this were the last region, that region would do that. I did notice it involved the same things, but it amused me. So this is orange for sure because if it were its own region, it could be neither orthogonal nor diagonal because both would involve taking that. So this is actually orange, and orange is done. And so our last region is just this column. The shame region indeed. Okay, so pink circle isn't the one. For what it is worth, one of these two is 1. Let's either pink X. Oh, well, this isn't 1 there. Oh, no, sorry, that's not true. No, sorry. One of these is 1. Yeah, so. Oh, right. No, pink X is involved in a sum. So that's okay. Yeah, this is a 3 or a 4. And these are from 1, 2, 3. But pink circle is involved in a sum. There we go. That's the point. Pink circle is involved in a sum to green X. So pink circle is 3 or 4, but it's involved in a sum to green X. Therefore, it can't be a 4. Or I'd need to say 4 plus 0 is 4 or something. So pink circle is 3. And so therefore that's a 1. These are both 4. And that's the 1. Oh, apparently I have my conflict checker off. So that had better be a 2, 2, 2, 2. And then my X's are the 1s. Woohoo! We have successfully completed one Fuda 4x4. I can now say I've done a Fuda puzzle. That was absolutely bonkers. Okay, now we're doing a 2-color loop. Yeah, this pack has like a million puzzles in it. We're definitely not doing all of them today. Draw a loop connecting centers of some cells. The loop can have blue or red segments, but it is allowed to change the color only when it turns. The loop cannot touch itself in any way. It can cross itself, but only with segments of different colors. A red cell must contain a red segment, but can't contain a blue one. A blue cell must contain a blue segment, but can't contain a red one. A purple cell must contain both a blue and a red segment. Each individual segment must have the same amount of intersections as it has turns. Okay, so that's forced, right? Okay, and this blue, I think, is also forced, right? Because the blue can't turn into the red. Right. This needs to be next to a blue, right? Because there is a blue edge emanating from this, and it goes that way. So I think these both have to turn because the only way that a loop changes is at a turn, right? So I think so these both turn, but I don't know what color they become when it turns. I just know that they do turn. And this has to continue so that I don't close the loop. Of course, this is a corner, but who knows what color it is. Oh, right. This is in a red cell, so it's definitely red. Oh, and I can put on row column labels too. Seems useful. Yeah, it can intersect. Well, it can't intersect here only because that would imply the loop branched, Garion. The loop can cross itself, but this edge, or this piece of line still has to be red. Ah, this needs to turn, so it needs to do that, is what you're saying. And then this is a corner, and it's red, so it's got to do that. Right. Right, all purples have to be turns. If it... Oh, I see. You're saying that I didn't actually know. Sorry, there we go. Okay, yeah, right. This could be a crisscross. Got it. Okay, sorry. I see what I did wrong now. What Garion and Jim are saying is that is legal. Oh, purples can be crossings, but not a purple on the border. So this was all right, right? I think this was all right. And this one can't be a crossing. Yeah, so this needs to turn. So we actually know that sort of like nothing comes through here. But no, it can't turn there, right? It can't turn there because that would involve a blue going into a red cell. So it does not turn there. So we actually do get that. Good night, Nicholas. I'm trying to think if I can do anything with this blue and this red. I don't think that's true, Joao, because I think I could do this, unfortunately, unless there's a reason I can't. But unfortunately, I made that mistake before, and then chat told me that I was wrong. Why can't this turn that way, AFK? Oh, that puts red in a blue cell. Right. Okay, yeah, you are right. Red can't go down here because the red would end up in a blue cell. So this red has to go here. I agree with that. Yeah, the line doesn't need to change colors on squares, just can if it's feeling spicy. Does this have to be visited by the loop at all? If it's not, I get blue-red meeting here. And I don't think that breaks this purple, because I could just have another blue-red corner, maybe? This sort of checkerboarding is interesting. Let's see, Josh says if this goes right, it traps the red line above it. Ah, yes. Because... Oh, no, the red line could become blue. Right? If this goes right, couldn't the red line become blue as it comes down before hitting there? Welcome, Damien, or Damani. Thank you for subscribing. Row 6, column 8. Oh yeah, it could even cross at this spot. Yeah, let's see. Do I have a 2 out of 3 situation anywhere? Would be nice. Yeah, sadly, it can change colors anytime it turns. Yeah, I'm trying to like find a 2 out of 3 combination that breaks on this, but I don't think there is. People told me it can cross on purple, but maybe they misread the rules. Let's see. Unfortunately, I don't think that's true. I think purple, I think it can cross on purples. Row 2, column 3, and row 2, column 4. Yes, because if the loop went here, it would have to be an intersection. It would crash. I agree with that. Oh, right. There was a can't touch itself rule, wasn't there? But I guess this loop isn't touching itself since I think all of this is forced. If there was loop here, Selena, then this would become an intersection, which it can't be. Otherwise, the loop would be closed, right? Oh, this could be the intersection. Sorry, you're right. That could be the intersection. Right, that could be the intersection, then this could be the crossing. I think that's right, yeah. I'm trying to decide if blue going down here is going to cause any problems for this purple, but I don't think so. Like, if this red goes up, it forces this blue. If this blue goes down, it forces the red. What is this about the same number of intersections as turns? Each individual segment, blue or red, must have the same amount of intersections as turns. I see. There is an invisible rule. I see. So this blue can't turn. Oh no, sorry, that is still fine. Right, this could have 0 intersections or turns. This red needs to find an intersection is interesting. So what goes wrong if red comes over here and has a second turn? Okay, I see. So if this red continues over here and has a second turn, it now can't go into the blue is the problem. And so it then somehow needs to have an intersection here anyway, but that doesn't actually work because you've got red on both sides of this. So yeah, so it's that blue cell is what does it. So this red actually does have to come through here. Okay, and so now this blue... Oh, right, this blue doesn't have to... Oh, this blue now has to have a turn. And that turn can't be up. So this cell's just dead now, for what it's worth. This blue has to turn and come this way. And it can't... Well, if it does turn here, it's still red, at least. Oh, right. It can't... Oh, but it could do, like, intersection-y thing here. Is the other option, I suppose. Row 2, column 3 being an intersection. So if this is an intersection, then we've got this red segment. Then the red segment has 2 turns in 1 intersection. No, 3 turns in 1 intersection, right. So this can't be an intersection. Because then red will have a total of 3 turns in 1 intersection. That doesn't work. So that means this does not turn left. Which means it has to keep going down. Like that. And still don't know about this being an intersection, but this isn't an intersection for what it's worth. It goes down, it breaks the blue in row 3. Oh, the blue line. Because the loop is going to be forced to close? No, the red can go through it and the blue can sneak out through it that way, right? So if the red does go down, this blue is going to be forced to intersect it. Selena says this can't turn because it needs intersections. Right. This can't, if this connects over here, I know this isn't an intersection. So if this connects here, then this just makes all of this red, and that doesn't work. And it certainly can't go left, so we end up with that coming down, and whatever this is coming down as well. Okay, I agree. And because of these X's, this blue comes down at least one more. Okay. This still needs an intersection, but it could be here. Oh, sorry. No one agrees with that. I thought what I said was right, but I chat doesn't agree, so I think it's Oh, red goes down, but could still be an intersection is the point. Right. It's only that red goes down, right? This could still do a blue across there. I see. Right. It actually feels moderately likely that that's what happens. Oh yeah, that doesn't work because that gives blue 2 turns in one intersection. No, blue 3 turns in one intersection. Or 2, I suppose. But yeah, that doesn't actually work if blue turns into this. Oh, gray could become red. Right. That could be red. Right. Okay. So Selena has a good point. This thing has 2 turns, so it needs more crossings, and it will end if it turns there. So it has to continue. Now that could still be a crossing, and it seems likely to me that it is. Oh yes, it certainly is, because now if this blue goes down, that just breaks immediately. Because if this... Oh no, it doesn't necessarily... Oh no, if the blue comes down here, it can't keep going. So if the blue comes here, it would turn here and become red, but then the loop is done. So I don't think the blue can come down here. I think the blue has to turn here, right? I think I have that correct. Okay, and this blue currently has 2 crossings and 2 turns. So the blue can stop whatever it thinks it's doing. And that would be a-okay with me. Right, this can't go down, because if it goes down, then it becomes blue, and it's not. So this definitely turns here. To the left or to the right. If it turns right, then it's forced to do this shape, which is maybe okay. No, it's not okay. Because if it turns right, because of this blue, we create 2 corners. Oh, no. So that's okay, as long as we get our intersections later. Doesn't it only have 2 crossings? I think it only has 2 crossings, Jim. So I think red is currently at equilibrium. Red just can't become blue on a square that's labeled as red. Oh, right. Right. If this turns, it could just become blue, and then all excitement ends. Because this one currently is 0-0. Let's see. Yes, I think that's right. I think if this is straight, I think it breaks. Because if this is straight, then it needs to turn here, and that segment is red. That's a third corner for this red segment. But this red segment only has 2 intersections, and I can't get in any more because it forces that. So if this isn't straight up and down, that means there's definitely a red segment to this side. Okay, now if these connect, it's a disaster, right? If these connect now, I've added an additional corner, and I'm going to add yet another corner or not, but I'm never going to get to an intersection because of this blue and this red both blocking off the red from continuing. So I think this red can't continue down, is what I seem to be seeing. Could it? Oh, right. No. Sorry, right. So couldn't it keep going and go through here and get a bunch more intersections if we make this a corner? Breaks row 6, column 7. Don't quite see it. Okay, yeah. So if red comes over here, the point is that now this has become forced to be, well, it just doesn't work at all, right? If red zips like that, now this blue can't go up because it will break the count on the red segment, and it can't go right because it's a dead end. So the red doesn't go that way. The red goes that way instead, and this cell is unvisitable now, which means this one has to go down. Oh, and it has to be red as it goes down, and then it has to be blue as it comes this way. And then blue has to come this way. And then red has to come this way. Did I cheat in there? I assume I cheated in there somewhere, but I don't know yet. This red is now at 3 turns, for what it's worth. Okay, so this can't turn up here and become blue, because if this turns up here and becomes blue, this red is not in equilibrium, and that red's not in equilibrium. And this red can't turn down and become blue either, right? So I think this is an intersection, right? Because if this becomes blue and turns down, then the loop is finished. So I think this needs to be an intersection. Like that. Uh-oh, isn't that broken? Yeah, something's wrong because that's broken. because this red segment has 3 corners and 2 intersections. Oh, because it could turn up, right? It can turn up as blue, right? Yeah, I guess the point is this red can't turn down. Because if it turns down, it becomes blue and it breaks the red. So this red can't turn down. It can't turn up either. So I think this red has to continue, right? I think this just has to continue. I don't know. Chat seems to be having a completely different conversation. But I think that has to continue. And I think that means that now this has to come down. Maybe not yet. People are saying this was correct earlier. Can't it be a turn and just go up and make an intersection here? I think this just turns up and makes an intersection here, is I think what happens. Oh, that breaks this intersection count if I do that. So this is itself an intersection, which happens to do that. Okay, this red is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, these two can't connect. I don't know that that means the loop doesn't go up there, though. I do know this doesn't keep going that way because of bluity. So I think this is now a blue corner, right? If this turns down, it does become blue, forcing a blue intersection there, but maybe that's okay. This is either a corner or nothing. Agree with that. If this goes up, it goes up as blue and then maybe becomes red again. Oh, no, no, no. I think actually if you follow that one forward, I think it doesn't work. If this goes up, it has to be blue, because if it were red, then we'd add an extra corner to red and we could add 2 more corners to red. So it goes up as blue. But then what is this segment going to be? And the answer is, well, if it's also blue, then I've got a blue segment that doesn't work. And if it's also red, then I've introduced a red segment into here that doesn't work. So this just can't be anything without creating problems. Yeah, Selena did that just by saying, okay, if this is something, what is it? So it can't be blue blue, can't be red red, and blue red doesn't work either. So it's just nothing, which then means this red goes down, probably as a blue segment, if I'm going to guess. Because if it were as a red segment, the loop would close. And so therefore we get this intersection-y bit. And now this blue segment has an intersection, so it needs to turn as blue. Otherwise it will be out of balance. This blue could maybe go up, actually. Oh, this seems to be a corner now. Yes, now this is at too high a count, so it has to keep going, right? Because if it ends here, now this is at 1 equals 2. So this actually has to keep going, which actually means that now it's going to have to keep going a lot more, because now it's at 1 equals 3. Yeah, and it's going to need some more bending. So it can't go down, right? Because if it goes down, it's going to end. Without getting its subsequent things. So I think it has to go here, and then here is, I think, what's going to happen, but I don't know that that's 100% forced. Oh, never mind, you're right, that is the correct number. That is the correct number of corners. The only problem with it is it breaks this cell. Which needs to have 2 reds sticking out of it in some direction or another. This going up breaks the red count. Because we pick up another intersection. We pick up intersection number 4 while only having 2 corners as we cross up here. And so we need 2 more turns, but then couldn't we just turn here and get those 2? That sounds like it works out to me. This goes left. I don't know as what, but Joao is correct. It does go left. So this either makes a crossing here or a crossing here. There's no none. One of these two is definitely a cross. This puzzle definitely hurts my soul. Is the question something like, can this really be blue? Because if this is blue... Oh, no. I think it's still... I was thinking it was going to force the red in some sort of specific way, but if it does, I don't see it yet. Oh, I think the version where this goes down breaks. If this goes down, so if this goes down, oh yeah, if you want to talk about Sudoku Train, by all means, someone can post a description in chat. I've only heard little bits and pieces about it. If this goes down, I think it breaks this blue segment, because if this goes down, I add one intersection, but then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns, and I've got 1, 2, 3 intersections, right? That doesn't work. So I don't think, I think actually Selena is, I think, in agreement with me, although I think Selena's counting a different thing, but I think it doesn't work. So I think this actually has to turn here. Okay, so this is one intersection, one turn, so this needs to be red. Nothing wrong with scaling down the scope to make something actually get finished. Do we prove it can't go down and be red? Which it... Oh, if this goes down and just makes the whole thing red... Ah, yeah, then it's just a single red segment with no turns and one crossing. Okay, this now... Right, if... Oh, it would keep going all the way down because it would be red. So it'd keep going down all the way to here. But the numbers don't match is what chat is telling me. And I feel like what's most likely is that this is going to be a blue cross. But okay, if this is red, it needs to find an intersection before it's done. How is blue doing again? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, so this blue needs another intersection. So this blue can't turn up because it would not get an intersection. So I think this blue continues, right? Did I not count that correctly? I think Selena thinks I did not count that correctly. Oh, right, it could turn down. Right, there's one more option, which is that it turns down, which is an appealing looking option. And it's all to support making F puzzles better, AFK? Is that the spirit of it? Okay, if this is red, it can't continue. Excuse me. If this is red, it can't continue because that would close the loop. So if this is red, it turns here. Does that math work out? It would be 1, 2, 3, 4 turns, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 intersections. Okay, so if I counted it right, it would actually work. See, row 5, column 3 is limited. A fancier puzzle portal does sound wonderful, AFK. The world could definitely do with moving on from LMD. And frankly, I think LMD would be quite happy for the world to move on from LMD. Okay. Yeah, we said this can't turn up, so it either goes straight or turns down. And the turn down option looks annoyingly okay. If this keeps going, this becomes blue and crosses through here. And there'll be, in fact, actually it joins that, and it'll be blue with 1 crossing and 1 turn as long as I make that red. Yeah, if there was one part of the Sudoku verse I would not compete with, it would be Sudoku Ped. Okay, that looks unfortunately plausible. And the version where this turns down looks plausible, I think. I feel like this red cell's got to be like doing some amount of work, but I can't figure out what is doing. And as noted, if this is something, then the red just sort of fills in itself. And it's all okay. Is it whether this can be blue? If this is blue, it keeps going under here. Crosses up there. Doesn't that break? I don't think that works. I think if this segment is blue, I think it breaks. Because if this segment is blue, it can't turn up. Oh, it could turn up into the red. Yeah. It's okay, though. Yeah, if it's blue, it turns up and becomes red here. Although it can't then turn here as red, because then that would be 2 red turns to 3 crossings. So it would force the red up again. Can't blue just grab an intersection across here, AFK? The loop definitely needs to cross 2 of these 3 vertically, for what it's worth. If it crosses this vertically, it's red. If it crosses this vertically, it crosses it as blue. If it crosses this... Oh, I think I've already said it doesn't cross this vertically, right? Oh, no, it could cross it vertically as red. Never mind. It just can't cross the... So if it crosses this vertically, it crosses it as red. Here it's red, and here it's blue. So there's definitely a red going down, whatever. It doesn't turn right, but it could be a crossing, right? Selena? Oh, are we saying in all universes there's a blue segment over here? Or in all cases there's a red segment down here? I don't know. Yeah, if this goes down, it's going to be an intersection. And it'll be 1, 2, 3 turns and 1, 2, 3 intersections in blue. Would make this under it red for what it's worth. I believe. Is there something this red can't do? Yeah, I don't think this red can do this, can it? If this red does this... Oh, no, this doesn't get stranded. It just becomes a crossing. Does that balance the loop count? Yeah, probably. Not the red one, though. The red one would still need 2 more turns. But wouldn't get it, though, right? Because this red would have to go up. I don't think this works, although it's quite a look ahead for my brain. Because it would be 4 intersections, and it would be 3 turns. Right? So I don't think that's possible. So I think that means that the red definitely takes down as one of its directions. Which I think now means this red can't keep going straight ahead, because if this red keeps going straight ahead... Welcome, Aiden! Thank you for subscribing. If this keeps going, it breaks no matter what, right? Because that's 2 turns. Oh, maybe 3 turns. Sorry, it could be 3 turns, because that could also be red. So I think it could continue as long as these don't cross. Oh, this turning left breaks. So if it turns left, it has to do that as blue. And then it would have to turn down as blue. So this would be a blue with a corner, and there's no way I could get the thing, right? Okay, so I think I agree this doesn't turn left. Which I think makes this cell unvisitable. I believe. And this cell, chat is also informing me, seems to be unvisitable. Yes, I agree. It is unvisitable. Right. Right. If it goes right now, it can't turn this into an intersection, so it just has to keep going down. Oh, wait. Right, this could still be an intersection. So we just know the red doesn't turn left or right, right? So the red does have to go down, I think, right? And I think this still isn't this is still unvisitable. Let's see if this turns over. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll be 1, 2, 3. Is there a place I could get a fourth? Yes, I could get a fourth there. I think now these can't connect. Right. If these connect, now it breaks. Because if these connect, then I don't have any place to get a crossing anymore, because, again, I can't fit it there. So these can't connect because I've got 3 crossings and I'd only have 2 turns. So I think those... Oh, no, I could make that red. Damn it. Oh, but then this would be dead. Right. That's the point. I think the point is as easy as this red. Oh, no. That's still not true. No, the red can turn and make something blue. Never mind. Isn't this pack listed as 3 stars? I think this pack is listed as 3 stars. Oh, it's listed as 4 stars. 4 stars, but solved 1 time. So I suppose it all makes sense. Right. This needs another crossing. That's true. And it can only get it by continuing forward, right? Is that the point? This has had 3 turns and only 2 crossings. It can't cross below, so it has to keep going. Because if it turns up or turns down, it doesn't get another crossing. I think that's the point. So now this, of course, has to cross up. What? Oh, right. Only 1 cell forward, because it's not the case. I'm used to all my instinct from all the puzzles I've done with loops of 2 colors is as soon as you get this pattern, you continue both of them. But that's just not how the rules in this puzzle work. This is a perfectly valid thing to have. Doesn't that break if it turns there? This one? Requires another crossing and we close the loop. Oh. Is the point that if this is a crossing, the loop closes? Oh, okay. One of these two has to be a crossing. There we go. One of these two has to be a crossing. And if this one is a crossing, this one is still a crossing. That's the point. Because if this one's a crossing, now the loop is kind of closed, but the only way to actually make it not is to also make this a crossing. So the point is this is always a crossing. And so now that then makes this a crossing because this red has to go somewhere. And so it can only do that. And now we count 1, 2 turns so far. 1, 2, 3, 4 intersections. So we need to make that red. And I think now we are done one of the more mind-bending. Oh, no, sorry. I have not finished this because this needs to be red in order to make this work. Okay, and so now this blue segment here is at 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, okay. It all worked out. Whew, boy. When Tristan saw I was doing this pack of little puzzles, he kindly opened the first 10 for me, which was very ambitious. Let's see. Let's see if we can do one more. That would already be impressive if we can do one more. Let's see. So we've got expanding skyscrapers. It does cut a little bit off the bottom, but I don't think I can make that much nicer without screwing up the whole thing. But you can see everything on the bottom. Oh God, what is the solution code for the 2-color loop? Dare I ask? Is Fuda the one I'm always battling with about solution codes? Let's see. Oh, is the solution code all the way back up here in the puzzle? Order codes for the lines and columns. Oh God. Okay, I don't want to enter that. Actually, I'm just gonna do this one instead of that one. Technically, we're skipping one, but this one actually shows up on screen entirely, so let's do this one. Draw 2 loops, a white loop and a black loop, going orthogonally through the centers of the cells. The loops cross at exactly gray cells. Black cells are not visited by any loop, and all remaining cells are visited by exactly 1 loop. At crossings, for the white loop, the segments from the crossing, the lengths of the segments, sorry, on either side are consecutive. For the black loop, the lengths of the segments from the crossing on either side, a ratio of 1 to 2. Oh boy. Okay. So the black cells aren't visited, so we know there's some loop over here, there's some loop over here, and these are all intersections, so we know there's some loop through here. And we know that all cells are visited, so we know we get the sort of the corners over here. I believe. Okay, so and it's the length of the segments on either side crossing until the first turn. Okay. Alrighty then. Okay, and there's no crossings anywhere else, right? Yeah, visit all other cells exactly once. Okay. Okay, and these two are different colors, so I know that these don't both turn through here for whatever limited amount that is worth. Lengths of segments from the crossing. Okay, so if I did this, that would be a one length segment, I think. Yeah, the I was trying to sort of work out with the but I don't think I have any ones yet, right, Selena? It's until a turn, and I don't think I know where there's a turn. But I was debating, like, if this edge is connected, then I would have a 2 on both sides, but I would, in fact, have a 2 on both sides. Oh, I don't have row column labels again. Yeah, this is really weird what's happening here. How is that even possible? This is very strange. So I'm gonna have the things. So between these, we've already got 2. But these aren't turns. It doesn't stop counting here, right? So, like, if let's just imagine I did this, then I would have 1 on this side and 1, 2, 3 on that side. So this would be saying 1, 3. That doesn't work. Okay, but I do think that this is telling me I can't put a turn here because I know the thing on the other side is at least 3. So certainly these both have to continue. At least 1 in each direction, right? And so now if I turn this here, it could be 2 to 4. But yeah, whatever length I have here, how do I know they can't be consecutive? That's what I'm trying to figure out, the sort of the elegant way to count this. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the loop is some number of cells long. How how does the two between matter? I feel like I think you're right, but I can't articulate what this two between's even doing because I'm counting some stuff that sort of like overlaps on either side. So like currently if it turns, then it would be 2, 4, 2. But if I extend this over, let me just, for my sanity, let me just imagine this. What numbers is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 5 and 1, 2. Sorry, this would be. Oh Lord. 2, 3. That would be 3 on this side. And 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. So that would be 3, 4. And this would be 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 and 5. So this would not work under any circumstance. Yeah, they have the same sum. That sounds like the correct thing to note, is that whichever two dots we actually have here, they have the same total length. So like here in my case, they both have length 7, for example. And so yeah, so they have to be symmetrical because once you know the sum, as Selena points out, so say the sum is 7 and it's a white Kropke, well then you know it's 3, 4. So it will be the same on both sides. Or if it's a black Kropke and the sum is 9, you know it's 3, 6, for example. So I think all we actually know is that this is symmetrical on both sides. So it doesn't extend more than one further. But I think it has to extend an equal amount on both sides because it has to be the same. Oh, not necessarily. My brain. Because I think you could do something like 3, 4, where the 3's on one side and the 4's on the other, depending on which one it is you're looking at. Oh no, that's what's always going to happen. Oh boy, yeah, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I think this does have to extend symmetrically on both sides. I think that's true. Okay, so yeah, so if you consider this this thing, right. So then if you think about whatever the total length of this is, then the two numbers that you end up getting end up being 2 apart, but they're the same numbers. So I think, yeah, so they're the same numbers, same pair of numbers, but the two numbers are 2 apart, but you can't have numbers that are 2 apart on a white dot, so they're going to have to be on a black dot. And And the only black dot with numbers that are 2 apart is 2, 4. So we're going to end up with that. And then we can fill in the white dot. Spoiler, the white loop is going to be gray and not white. So that is exciting, I suppose. Oh, do we know it can't cross itself? Oh, maybe that's not true. Yeah, it says the loops cross at exactly the gray cells. I would not call it the loops crossing if it was a loop crossing itself, but I agree it's not 100% clear. But I think the sentence "the loops cross" implies that it is in fact a crossing of distinct loops. But if others disagree, I am happy with that. Right. This is now... Wait. Does it? Oh, yeah. Right. From here. Right. So Selena's point is now this is definitely turning here. So from this dot's perspective, this side is a 1. And so this side has to be a 2, which is 1, 2, which means that this is turning here. And we know what that turning looks like. And so we end up with here a 1 to 2 sort of business. So we end up with that. Now, that does not tell us what color it is, of course. Let's see. Row 6, column 11 is forced, correct. So it definitely looks like that, regardless of what color it is. Let's see, Selena says this is forced by parity. I'm not quite sure exactly what that means in this context. What is it? I do know these are different colors, so it doesn't look like that. So it does do one of these. But I don't think I know the color of anything else around row 5, column 10. Okay. So Selena is looking at this 2x3 region, and noting that there have to be an even total number of in-outs into this 2x3 region, because every loop that enters it also has to leave it. And so I have to use either neither or both of these edges over here because I'm currently at 4 and I can't change anything about any of those. I can only change this one. And so I'm either going to be bouncing that way or bouncing that way. But the bouncing this way creates a dead end there, and that can't be a dead end. So I can't do that version. So I have to do this version, which makes this loop black. And makes that loop white. And this loop continues up, whatever it may be. Okay. Can these grays really connect like this? Because that would force these to both be length 2, but maybe that's okay. This is a corner. I agree with that. That's very helpful. So now this is a corner. That is also helpful. Okay, so this is either length 1 or 2. And this side's either length 1 or 2. So these are a 1-2 pair regardless of what happens. It's just a question of which way around it goes. But I don't quite see exactly what I'm supposed to do with that information. Right, this is definitely gray in terms of the loop that visits it, because the black, if the black loop comes here, it doesn't have 2 places to go. So the only loop that visits this cell is the gray loop. We can mark that. Likewise, this cell also, right? Let's see. This bucket currently has 3 entries. So it needs to have a 4th entry, and the only edge that it could come from is here. So there's definitely an edge over here, I think, is Selena's point. Let's see. If these connect, it breaks this cell. Wait, did I screw that up, J40? I do agree these can't connect and these can't connect, because if these connected straight across, then these things would come down and this would be ungettable. It would become a dead end. And likewise over here, which means we do in fact get a little bit of gray loop coming down like that. And now this green loop is gray no matter what, because it has to turn into gray no matter what it does. Likewise, this little bit over here is gray. Let's see. Selena says row 7, column 5 and 6 must not connect. Oh, and I did this before. Did I screw this up when I said this had to be here? I think when I said this had to be here, I was wrong. Because I think in this group, I think it could be that the extra entries over here. I think I screwed that up. But I know that one of these two is in. Right. If this, so in the universe where I'm saying where the fourth thing is here, then this becomes a tunnel and it comes across anyway. So this always is there, and then Selena's point is therefore that is not crossable. Okay, got it. That makes sense. So we do get that. And this is now a corner because it can't go through there. So so we get that, which then makes this a corner as well. Okay, and so wait, did I cheat? Sorry, I might have cheated by... No, I didn't cheat. No, it's okay. So black does turn up. Sorry, I was afraid I had cheated. I know that there's a segment here. I will have to at some point learn this loop technique, Selena. But now is probably not the time when I will learn it. Row 3, 4, column 10, 11. Yes. Yeah, this can't possibly be black anymore because these ends, no matter how this connects, I guess the way I'd say it is no matter how this green connects, it's always connecting to a white. Agree. Which is nice because it forces this gray out. And forces that black out, which then forces this gray out again because of the thingy thing. Is it going to turn out the... Like, this black loop is running out of opportunities to not just end, like, right in this little bitty bit over here. Oh, but it can't because it needs to get over here somehow. Yeah, there's probably some sort of way that I can force that. Actually, maybe these are the only two black lines that leave. Maybe that's the two ways that it sort of gets out of the middle. Yes. Okay, so yeah. J40's point here that I now see that I think Jay saw this a while ago, but I did not. If these connect, it forces these to connect, which makes both of these ones, which makes both of these twos, except now this segment is just hanging in the middle of nowhere. So those don't connect. And if those don't connect, that indeed makes this a black corner. If this black goes up, it breaks, right? I think if black goes up, imagine the world where black does this. That makes both of these black or gray, but I think both break because these are now forced to connect, and now black can't get out of this inside except for one way, right? Black can only sort of get out of here through this one spot, and that's not the right number of spots because there's something black over here. So I think that means that black definitely comes, or sorry, black definitely doesn't go up, I think. People can let me know if they believe that or not. But I think it's true. Let's see. Yeah, okay, sorry. So let me first do let me first do AFK's point. Which is that if these two connect, then they're one on this side, so they're getting two on this side. But at that point, because this one turns down, that one turns up, and I end up with gray and black being the same loop. So these two don't connect, which means that in fact we end up with that. And also, if this vertical segment is black, people are pointing out by my same argument, then black doesn't have two ways of ever escaping the center piece here, because it means these aren't exit points. So in fact, this piece is gray and these are black. And now this can't be black anymore because black has to exit the center an even number of times, right? And so this would be an additional exit for black, and that doesn't work, I believe. So I think that has to be gray. And now this black can't connect there, because if the black connects there, again, I'm saying black never leaves the center. So if that black doesn't connect there, then it does that, and this does that. And so now this needs to be of length 1, because on this side it's of length 2. And so if this isn't of length 1, 2, 2 isn't a black dot relationship. So this definitely doesn't turn there. Or sorry, this definitely does turn here, which means the other side of this is loop. Oops. Yeah, 2 is not consecutive with 2. It does not have a ratio of 2 to 1 with 2 either. Let's see. Row 4, column 8 can't go left. Right. As Jim says, 2 and 2 are not consecutive. So yeah, so same argument over there. That does not work. So this is a 1 to 2. That's what you were talking about. I see. It was the same deduction as I made over here, but I did not look over here. Okay, so now this... Oh, this could go down. That would be irksome, wouldn't it? Yes, if this goes down, it does create a mini loop. I'm told I'm supposed to say by bouncing. Yes, it does. There's no avoiding it. So this goes up instead. Which now makes... Oh, sorry, it does not make that a corner. Don't listen to me. It does make that a corner, though. And now that's a 1, so this needs to be a 2. And so that sort of ties all that together. That's a 1, so this needs to be a 2. And now this can only turn that way. This is now a corner, and it's black. Let's see. Okay, so this is 1 or 2 on this side. So this is 2 or 4 on this side. Let's see. Would that be 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 4. Right. If this were black, it would mean that the black loop here had parity issues. Let's see, how can I articulate this nicely? No, right. I think it would work, actually. Yeah, as I try and articulate it, I think it does work. So this is the only clue I have left? Okay, that's the way to do it, is what AFK says. This border needs to be crossed an even number of times by both loops, and currently it's only crossed by the gray loop once. Oh, sorry, no, it's crossed by the gray loop twice. So it can't be crossed by the gray loop again. That would be a third time. So in fact, this is black. Very good. Except for the fact that this crossing was camouflaged and I almost missed it. Okay, so now this black certainly can't turn up here, because if the black turns up here, this end can never connect to its friends. So this black turns down, which forces the gray down, like that. Oh, right, we have clues here. Sorry, going vertically. I just haven't even thought about these clues, right? Assuredly, this gray can't go all the way down here, because this gray up here is going to be a 1 or a 2. It certainly can't be a 1, right? If this were a 1, I would need... Oh. No, maybe that would be okay. 1, this would need to be... No, it just can't be a 2, right? If this turns, then this is a 1. Then I would need to go 1, 2, and turn. It already doesn't turn on 2. So yeah, so this needs to go up here. Okay, that would have been a much, much easier way to handle all of this stuff. So that just makes all of this loop up here black, which is okay. So now on this side, we've got 1, 2. So on this side, we need probably 3. 1, 2, 3. And so now it needs to turn. And the only way it can turn is that way, which then forces the black loop over there. Which then and in this row now I've got a 1 length black, so this needs to be 2 length. Oh boy, I'm so heartbroken it didn't turn out to be 2, 4. That's so tragic. It could have been 2, 4, so that there was a 2, 4 somewhere in the puzzle. There we go. There is our Kropke loops. Alrighty, well, more exciting and longer stream than usual today, but it was fun. We did some Sudoku in 3 dimensions. We watched Simon solve a puzzle that we set together a few streams ago. And then we did my first, second, and third Fuda puzzle, including a 4x4 that took us an hour. So all pretty cool. Oh, there are 2 4s, right? But anyway, so thank you everyone for hanging out with me. Yes, perhaps next week we'll do 4D Sudoku. I will be back again streaming on Sunday. No promises of whether it will be in the 4th dimension or not, but it could be. But yeah, there will be this big thing going on Twitch over the weekend, so check that out as well. By all means, AFK, feel free to post details and links and spam ads about it in the zetamath discussion. I'm very happy to support that. 4D loop puzzles coming soon. I do have an absolutely insane idea for a Philomeno puzzle, so it's possible on Sunday we'll be setting an absolutely insane Philomeno puzzle. I'm not sure, but we will see. But I have an idea for using arrows in a new way, at least to me. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone who supports the stream. It really does mean a lot, especially those of you who support the stream financially. If you would be interested in doing so and don't currently, you can click the $ below, and that can talk you through how to do stuff like being a member, which you can do for as little as $5 a month and get the cool windmill by your name and the green screen name and all of that sort of stuff that you see, as well as the Zach emotes. Zach says hi. He's very happy with the Zach emotes. So thank you, everyone. And I'll see you all real soon. Last but not least, thank you to the Turbines, Daniel, David, Franco, Nell, Nordy, Plonktime, and DDX. I'll see you all real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.